All right, vanilla lovers, today's video is for you. Or if you think you're considering dipping into the world of vanilla scents, today's video will also be helpful for you, hopefully, because I'm gonna be reviewing the Best of Vanilla Sephora favorite set. If you saw my recent haul, I said that I picked this up because I was hoping to try out one of the fragrances in here. So I decided to pick up the set to try that scent and the other 4 that are in here. I'm also gonna be sharing with you one of my favorite vanilla scents aside from what's in here in case you're looking to pick up some fragrance in the upcoming Sephora VIB sale. So if you've been considering picking up this little set, or maybe you've had your eyes on one of the scents in here and you want to know my thoughts, today's video should be helpful for you. And if we haven't met before, my name is Kelly and I'm a professional hair and makeup artist and fragrance obsessed woman. Can't seem to get enough. And here on my channel, I strive to keep beauty real. Real honest, real relatable, and real fun. So if that sounds like something you'd enjoy, don't forget to click subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. Let's go ahead and dive in. We've got several scents to talk about. I'm going to be sharing with you the notes and all of my thoughts. By the way, I have worn all of these scents, so this isn't just me like sniffing the little tester because I think it does make a difference putting it on skin. So I really wanted to see how the scent wore throughout the day, if my thoughts changed at all. So we're going to go through each one and I'll give you my thoughts right now. All right, we might as well start off with a scent that is responsible for me purchasing this little set, and that is the new by Rosie Jane scent called Dulce, and this one just sounded so good on the Sephora website. I was, again, I know I talked about this in my haul video, but I was like kind of browsing the fragrances, waiting for the upcoming sale, seeing if there's anything that I wanted to try out, and I saw this scent and it sounded amazing. Now, this scent does come in both an eau de parfum and the perfume oil. The perfume oil is what is in this set, by the way, which is kind of cool because it's a much higher value. Now, if you've never purchased one of these little travel fragrance sets, what it is basically a set of little sample sizes of fragrance. Usually it's about 4 or 5, but there's also a voucher included. Once you've tried all the scents, you know which one you like the best, you can go ahead and redeem that voucher either online at Sephora or in store. So you'll be able to pick up a travel size of that fragrance, and usually it's at a better value than you would get it on its own. So as I'd mentioned before, just picking up this set, you usually are getting a better deal anyway, especially considering that you get to try a couple more fragrances. But this perfume oil is actually valued at $45. I know, $45 for the little 0.23 ounce size or the 7 ml size. So let's go over the key notes in this. Now I will say, I think this is such a new scent that the notes of this aren't on Fragrantica. So I'm just going off of what Sephora says here, but Sephora says that it's vanilla, chocolate, and hinoki wood. And it says that it's like a decadent and rich dive into the world of vanilla. It's instantly recognizable and undeniably addictive. This scent has a blend of 2 kinds of vanilla, a touch of chocolate, and seductive hinoki wood. This fragrance is like sweet candy with a shot of whiskey on the side. So that totally sounded up my alley. Now, if you see me referring to my phone a lot, I did take notes as I was wearing these scents kind of throughout the day, what I thought. I will say that Dulce is exactly what I wanted it to be. It is warm and cozy. It really is almost like if you were to take vanilla beans and steep it in milk and add some cocoa and then maybe just a few marshmallows on top, but like not overly sweet. Like some of that makes it sound like it's going to be super, super sweet, but it's not. It's, I mean, sweet-ish because it's a vanilla. I did just go ahead and spray some on these little strips, but it's like a more complex, softer, richer vanilla. I don't know if things can be softer and richer at the same time, but I think maybe it's the little like woody note that's in there, because I think that that just brings it down to like an earthier note and takes it away from that like overly sweet candy, like Bath and Body Works spray kind of vibe. It's very nice. I'll just be honest, I do think that this is going to be the one that I pick up, especially since the value of this is so incredible. I do think I'm going to be picking up the fragrance oil. I'm really tempted to pick up a travel size of the eau de parfum too, just because, you know, with perfume oils, obviously those work really great on your skin. I do think they tend to last a little bit longer and they tend to have just a little cozier feel, but you can't really like spray them on your clothes. And sometimes I just like to have like a little of fragrance on my clothing. So I might go ahead and pick up the travel spray as well, which I think was like 25, 28 bucks. So this one I'm really enjoying. I think it is just gonna be a great like cozy scent for the fall and winter. I think it will also mix well with a few of my other fragrances that I have. I mean, we'll see. Maybe I'll change my mind, but I did just want to say that I do think that that's going to be the one that I get from this set. So let's move into one that I was very surprised by. This is a scent from the brand Floral Street, which I had never tried before, and this is the scent Wild Vanilla Orchid. So I have to say, like, the thing about this one, I don't get much vanilla at all from this scent. Like, this one has actually been sitting on this test strip for like a while, but when I wore this, like, I can smell it on here. I can smell the vanilla at the very, very bottom of this, but when I wore it, I really didn't find that it had much vanilla to it. But hold on, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me go ahead and give you the notes on Fragrantica. So it says that the top notes are vanilla flower, cassis, and citruses. The middle notes are flowers, that's very general, flowers, bamboo, and jasmine. And then the base notes are vanilla bean, sandalwood, orchid, and patchouli. I knew there was patchouli in here. I knew it. And by the way, when I tried all of these out and I took my notes, I did not look up any of the notes of these scents. I mean, I looked up Dulce, obviously, because like I was curious about getting it before I saw this sampler, but the rest of it, I've just kind of like kept a surprise. So, I mean, the patchouli is very strong in this one. It's very prevalent. I don't want to say it's like super strong, but it's definitely really prevalent. So the fragrance description of this one on Sephora is it's vanilla, but not as you know it. Yeah, that's definitely true. This vegan perfume envelops the senses like a warm, cozy blanket. Wild Vanilla Orchid is a raw-edged confection of creamy vanilla beans, blossom, cassis, and citrus dressed in a bunch of just plucked jasmine. Offsetting the lingering sweetness, bamboo and sandalwood bend and fold underneath. Here's the thing, you have to enjoy a musky, earthy scent to like this scent. Like, don't get this if you're looking for something vanilla forward. Like, this has a vanilla in it, but if someone was like, oh, I really just want like a great vanilla scent, I would never recommend this one because I don't think that you get a lot of that. I think that the vanilla is what sort of rounds out and softens all of the other things in here, but I don't get the vanilla at all. It is definitely like that more deep, dark floral, like not like a floral, like a light, like Gucci Gardenia or something. It's definitely like a deep, dark floral. Like I think like dark wallpaper, velvet furniture, like deep bouquets, kind of looking a little gothic, you know, that kind of vibe. But creamy. So when I actually wore this perfume, I had asked Jeremy what he thought, and he's like, oh, I really like that. But he actually was like saying from a point if he was wearing it, just because there is so much like musk to it. If you like kind of like a musky yet sweet scent, which Jeremy definitely can do, like, I don't know, I was very surprised. He thought it reminded him of Commodity Velvet. So I did actually spray that one because I do have that one still in some samples from the little test travel thing that I did. I don't get that actually. Velvet is much smokier, but I get the vibe because it's that like deep, earthy floral, but this definitely has a lot more smoke to it. Now for me, when I sprayed this on, right away, what I actually thought of was the Marc Jacob Decadence. I think it's called like 1.8 version. It's one that Natalia Lavrova had given me, and it's a very strong, heavier scent that has a lot of musk at the beginning. Like when you first put it on, it's sort of like, I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know about this. But as it softens down, I sort of get like more of like a delectable gourmand feel to it. I do see that they both have jasmine, so maybe that's where that like heavy floral comes from. I actually would have sworn that Decadence has some patchouli in it because it definitely has that like earthy feel at the beginning, but I guess it doesn't. So it's just more of that like heavier, dark floral. So again, I'm just kind of like getting off track here, but I'm just trying to think of fragrances that I have smelled that this sort of reminds me of. Another scent that sort of comes to mind is the original Black Opium from Yves Saint Laurent, but that is still, I feel like it's just a little lighter and sweeter, whereas this is like definitely, again, that more like gothic, deep, heady smell. So if that's the kind of vibe that you're going for, go ahead and try that one out. It was just more than what I was looking for. So I guess what I'm trying to get to here is that I personally would have never selected the scent to put into a vanilla set. I think like into almost more of a floral set. Yeah, I don't know. I'm still getting that floral at the beginning of it. Like It's creamy, but it's a creamy, deep floral. So if that sounds like your jam, that might be one that you want to try. And this one, by the way, is $32 for the travel spray. And I'm just seeing that this set is $25, not $28. So moving into the next scent in this set, we have Nest New York's Madagascar Vanilla. And this is, again, a perfume oil rollerball. So this, to me, if you are looking for a mostly just like pure solid vanilla note, that's what I get from this. That is definitely what I get from this. When I put it on, I think what I was describing to someone was like, it just feels a little bit generic. Like, and maybe that's what you're looking for. Like, if you're just like, I just want a great vanilla scent, maybe you're just looking for something to layer. Maybe you just really love vanilla and you want that to be the most forward note. This would be the one for you. It did last a while, especially being a perfume oil. And while it's that basic vanilla scent, again, it's not too like cloyingly sweet. Now for Grantica list the top note as vanilla bean, the middle note as vanilla orchid, and then the base note as coconut. And I do have to say, like at the beginning when I wore this, I didn't pick up that coconut vibe, but it is definitely in there. I think it just lends more to the creaminess of this, but I think you're mostly gonna get vanilla. It's like 75% vanilla, 20% coconut, and like maybe a slight floral at the end there, but I don't really get that. I don't really get that at all. Like, it's not like a floral fragrance to me, in my opinion. Now, the website says, capture the allure of Madagascar's landscape with this nourishing perfume oil featuring the warm essence of vanilla bean, the subtle floralcy of vanilla orchid, and a hint of coconut. It's artfully blended with baobab oil for a formula that melts into your skin while leaving behind a long-lasting fragrance. So I will say that this definitely was, again, one of those fragrances that lasted for a while on me. I just think unless you, really love that vanilla forward scent, or if you're looking for something to layer, I just don't see picking this one up. Like, there was nothing like, ooh, that's different or that's unique about this. And for me, I have so many fragrances. If I'm looking to get something, it needs to be quite different. And this, to me, it just didn't hit that mark for me. It's nice. I wasn't at all like, oh my gosh, I wish I hadn't put this on my skin, but I just felt kind of basic and a little bit young, and not in like a good way, you know? I just felt like, okay, maybe I'm like 17. This is like one of my first fragrances. Yeah, I don't know. But again, if this is something you're interested in, this is the way to go, this value set, because it's $35 value. So if you were to pick this up on its own, it'd be 35 bucks. You can get the whole set for 25. And of course, if you're doing it during a sale, it's even cheaper than that. All right, so let's talk a little bit about Skylar Vanilla Sky. I think that this is a fairly well-known vanilla. I think that that is with good reason. Like, this, I definitely get, it's vanilla. Like, I would definitely, if someone was walking by, I'd be like, oh, that's kind of vanilla. But it's more unique. Whereas like the Madagascar vanilla, again, it just sort of was like, I'm vanilla. A nice vanilla, but I'm just vanilla. Whereas this one, I definitely get a little bit of other notes. So here on the Sephora website, it's listed as the smell of comfort in a super sensual gourmand fragrance. Rich, warm vanilla notes blend with delicious hints of cappuccino. Caramelized cedarwood lies at the base of the fragrance to give a rich golden warmth that reminds you of stunning golden hour skies. The notes of this one are listed as the top notes of cappuccino, sweet orange, and bergamot. Okay, this is good to know because I really felt like the Sephora description and like what my nose gets are kind of different. Like, I was gonna say I definitely get a fruity note from this. Anyway, so you've got those citruses in the top. The middle notes are vanilla, cinnamon, and Spanish jasmine, and the base notes are caramel, sandalwood, amber, and cedar. Okay, so yeah, this is a sweeter vanilla than Madagascar vanilla, but I think it's just because it's more fruity. It's not like sweeter as in like sticky sweet, overly caramelized. It's because of that fruitiness there. I don't get the cappuccino really. I would like to get the cappuccino, but I don't. Maybe just like a tiny, tiny bit, but to me the citrus, and of course that's just because it's like in those top notes, so that's gonna be what's prevalent the most at the beginning of the day, but it's also like, I think a fragrance when you first spray it on that's kind of like the experience that you have for most of the day. Like that's just what you remember. And then later in the day, as the fragrance wears down, you can maybe catch those base notes a little bit as you like walk around. You can kind of like smell it in the air, but I think the experience of it is always in like first putting it on, and that's what I get from that. So for this one, for the travel size, it is the largest so far. It's 0.33 ounces, also known as 10 mils, by the way, and that is $29. So I think so far that's like the least expensive one and the biggest one. So I guess if you like a fruitier, sweeter vanilla, but not sweet as in, like I said, too sugary, you might enjoy this one. Again, it just didn't trip my trigger. I also found that this was the one that lasted the least on the skin. I don't know, let me know, because I feel like I've heard that a lot about Skylar fragrances, that you do have to tend to reapply more often. But this one I definitely felt like after maybe 3 or 4 hours, I just wasn't catching much of it anymore. So that could also be nice if you're just looking for like a pick-me-up at some point in the day and you don't want something, you know, that's gonna be like too cloying on you. So I guess that's my thoughts on that one. Okay, so let's go into this last one. This is one that I was kind of like, I really thought that I would end up liking it just because one of the other scents from this brand is one of my favorites, and I really didn't care for this one at all. And that is Vanilla Vibes from Juliette Has a Gun. So let's go ahead and start off with the price of this one. It is $30 for the travel size, and this is 0.25 ounce. So that's really, you know, again, getting like more up there in the cost. Here's the thing about this though, and I didn't look up any of the notes of any of these scents other than Dulce before I started applying these. Right away, when I got this and I first put it on, I was like, Play-Doh. I was like, this totally gives me Play-Doh vibes. Let's see, what did I put in my notes? So I said fresh, almost cucumber note, Play-Doh. Yeah, it has Play-Doh, and I was like, there's something fresh about this. Like, is it cucumber? Just that like kind of like light fresh vibe. So here is what the notes are of this, and I had to laugh. So the top note in this fragrance is salt, just straight up salt. And I think that that's where that Play-Doh vibe comes from. Then we have Vanilla Absolute and Orchid as the mid notes. And the base notes are tonka bean, sandalwood, musk, and benzoin. So those base notes are all things that I usually love. Like, I mean, musk I can kind of give or take, but like sandalwood, benzoin, tonka bean, I'm usually all about it. It's just the salt in this. It's the salt in this, and it really throws me off. I can see where they put this in to maybe balance out some of the sweetness of vanilla, but I just think, it's just too Play-Doh-y. It totally reminds me of Play-Doh. Like, I sprayed it on, I wore it for a few hours, and I was like, if I were to use this again, I would definitely have to layer it up with something else that would like almost like mask that Play-Doh scent. And for a top note, that should almost like fade away a bit after a while. And I didn't find that. I still had that like kindergarten vibe going on after a while. So while some of these other vanillas gave me like a youthful vibe, like this one was taking me like way back in the day, like kindergarten, first grade, making not even Play-Doh so much as like, remember we used to make homemade dough, like homemade like shaping dough or whatever. I totally remember doing that a couple times. It's that salty smell, and I wasn't here for it. I guess if I had to get some sort of redeeming quality about this, this would probably layer well with a coconut fragrance, with a beach vibes fragrance. Like if you have something that's sort of beachy and you want to up the ante of the vanilla, I think that these would mix well together, but I'm just not digging the dough. Okay, so that is the rundown of all of these scents. Now, before I recommend to you my favorite vanilla-ish scent, I'm just gonna kind of like put these in order of my preference. So off the top, I would definitely say that Dulce is the one that, not only am the one that I'm gonna grab, obviously, but the one that's like in the top ranking for me. And I think that that's just because it's exactly what I was looking for. You know, it has that like cocoa note. It's a little bit more rich, a little bit more cozy without being like overly sweet. It was just exactly what I wanted it to be. I will be very curious to see how the eau de parfum stands up to the perfume oil. Now, next, as I've got these like laid out in front of me here, okay, would it be Madagascar Vanilla or Vanilla Sky? Oh, I don't know. I think I'm gonna say Madagascar vanilla. While again, this was just like the most basic kind of like vanilla, I think it would be a good layerable. So I guess that's, if I had to, that would be the next one that I would get. So I think just because it did last quite a while, again, being a perfume oil, I think that's a big part of the reason for it. So I think it would be good to lay down before I put another scent over the top, because then it would make everything last a little bit longer. Then after that would be Vanilla Sky, I think. You know what? If I'm not purchasing it for me, I would do the Wild Vanilla Orchid so that Jeremy could try it out. Although now that it's like been sitting here, no, I bet he'd still like that. I bet he would still like that. I would probably get the Wild Vanilla Orchid so Jeremy could try it. But again, if it was just for me, I would pick out Vanilla Sky. And then after that, I would pick out Wild Vanilla Orchid for myself. Although I just don't see myself like wearing it that much. But maybe for a night that it was like date night for Jeremy and I, because I know that he does like it. So then at the very end would be Vanilla Vibes. Like, I just can't see wearing this one. For me, again, the saltiness, it's just off for me. So that would be the order in which I would rank these. Now, let's talk about the scent that I would recommend to all of you. So the scent that I want to talk to you about is Commodity Gold. And I'm pretty sure that I've talked in length about this because I did haul it, and I know that I talked about it in the Commodity like Explorer set that I got. By the way, if you do want to see that, I think that's like 16 of the Commodity scents, all in the Scent Spaces journey. So this is the Expressive Gold, which sits right in the middle. Now, if you aren't familiar with the Commodity Scent Spaces, they have Personal, Expressive, and Bold. And it's not just about the strength of the scent, because the scent profiles do change a little bit, but it's really just in the experience of like how like personal or like mid-range or like, hello, I'm in the room and here's my fragrance you sort of want. At any rate, if you want more details, you can go ahead and watch that video. I will say it's a long one because Jeremy did it with me, and so it's definitely a lengthy one, but you can go ahead and check it out sometime. If you need a little like scent podcast, that would be kind of fun. I'll make sure to have that linked here and down below. So I'm just gonna go through what Sephora says. It says it is a warm and gourmand scent, and that this rich concoction of molten amber and Nubian musk is indulgent enough to bathe in. They also note that Madagascar Bourbon Vanilla Absolute is used in this scent. The pure vanilla cultivated on the Bourbon Island of Madagascar is widely known as the highest quality vanilla in the world. So just one thing there. So this is definitely like an amber and vanilla. I guess what I would say about Gold is it is the most grown-up version of vanilla I've ever smelled. It is deep and sexy, and it's not sticky sweet. Like, it's almost a little bit smoky, but in more of like a woodsy way, not like a by the fireplace replica kind of way, if you know what I mean. Like, it's just, yeah, it's, I think part of it is that amber. I think part of it is the woodsiness. So this is definitely a blend. You're not going to spray this and think like vanilla. Like, it's definitely like you get that creaminess from the vanilla, and of course like the creamy yet sexiness from the amber. I really like this one. I like this one a lot. I think that it is the perfect fall and winter scent if you like a gourmand that is still a little lighter and fresher, because I do think that this is like, yeah, it's just that like tipping the edge where it's like sexy but not too deep. I could still see wearing it in the summer if you really like a good vanilla. I just love it. I love it. I love so many of the Commodity fragrances. Like, my dream would just be to have all of them. Like, at some time maybe I will, because between Jeremy and I think we truly enjoyed like every single one of the scents. Yeah, that would be my hope and dream at some point. So hopefully you enjoyed this little walk down vanilla lane with me, and if you were thinking about getting this little vanilla vibes, this best of vanilla set, now you kind of know my thoughts on it, and maybe you found a vanilla scent that you'd like to try, and this value set is the way to do it. Hands down, I mean, most of the time you were saving at least $5, sometimes more, especially if you're looking at getting one that is a perfume oil, because those just tend to be more expensive. Well, I've had fun, and it definitely smells like vanilla in here. So let me know down below which one of these sounds like a scent you would pick up. I would love to know your thoughts. You know, I can never stop talking about fragrance. Also, if you have a vanilla fragrance that you just love, leave a comment down below so that we can all check it out. We can have like a community of scent lovers together. Thank you all so much, lovelies. I really do appreciate you taking some time out of your day to spend it with me. Go ahead and like this video if you did enjoy it, and I will see you really soon.